Bang.
I ain't taking nothing but win.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Unscripted Sports Show. MoneyE here, back with another edition of the college football 12-team playoff quarterfinals. This is the quarterfinals edition. Picks and best bets. The quarterfinals start tonight at 7:30 between Ohio State defending champions Ohio State Buckeyes and the Miami Hurricanes. Rematch at the 2002 national championship. Two storied programs facing off for a spot in the semifinals. Should be a good one. I'm doing this at like 2 a.m. So that's why I said tonight. So about 17 hours from now. About 18, less than 18 hours from now is the start of the quarterfinals, and then for New Year's Day, you got Texas Tech and Oregon to start it off, and then you got Alabama and Indiana in the Rose Bowl at 4:30, and then the nightcap is Ole Miss versus Georgia in the old school. I mean, not old school. In the SEC matchup between two teams that played each other earlier in the season, where Ole Miss, the only loss they had this season was to Georgia. So that should be a good one. All four games should be good. To recap, I went 3-1 on my picks, but let's see, 1. Yep. 2-2 in my picks, but 3-1 on my best bets. So, and that's overall. So 2-2. I'm 45-48 on season overall. That's including the shorts I did. So, and then first round best bet 3-1 as I said, and 19-22. Let's see, I didn't update that. It should be 19-23 because TCU won, and that was my best. So it was 19-23 because TCU won, and I had USC. So I went 1-2 yesterday on my best bets for bowl picks. I only did one show for that, but the rest of my picks were I did it in short videos, so check those out. I decided just to do short vids for the bowl games. It's easier, and I didn't have time to do show for all parts. I did. There's going to be 8 parts, so it was 7 to 8 are shorts, and the first part is with an actual show. Rest are short. It's because of time. But this one I did. This one I'm doing a show because it's playoffs. So let's see. Recap the playoffs. The 2 games. Let's see. Playoffs. Recap my best bets. I had 4 done and 1 from each game. Alabama, Oklahoma over 40.5. That was right on point. Not right. I mean, that was right. Miami, Texas A&M under 48.5. That was easy. They scored combined 13 points. Tulane plus 17.5 versus Ole Miss. That was a tank. And JMU and Oregon over 47.5. That was over. Oregon got the over by by themselves. As far as the picks, I had Alabama to win, check. A&M and had A&M to win. That Miami won, obviously. And I had Tulane to upset Ole Miss. That was a joke. That was I don't know why I was thinking there. Yeah, I guess because I thought a new coach Tulane would come in there and win. Yep, I was wrong with that. And then I had Oregon to beat James Madison. So went 2-2 with that, and 3-1 on my best bets. So, not much to say about the first round other than the only game that was worth watching was Alabama and Oklahoma. It was the best game of the playoffs. No, wrong one. What am I doing? What am I doing? Hold on. So let's talk about Miami and Ohio State. Defending champs, Ohio State Buckeyes, and the Miami Hurricanes. So, Miami comes into this game 35th overall in offense, 10th in defense, 32nd against the pass, 7th against the run, 76th in rushing, and 31st in passing. This last game they did run the ball, but they couldn't score until the fourth quarter, which they scored when they needed to. So, and it was a rushing touchdown. So, yeah, Miami did what they had to do against Texas A&M. It was not pretty, but they did what they had to do, and they won 10-3. Crazy, right? They didn't really get anything going. The Buckeyes, the defending champions, are number one defense in the country. First against the pass, fifth against the run. So if Miami wants to run, they're gonna have to run. It's gonna be tough. 24th in offense, 24th in passing, and 62nd against the run. So this is the second in rushing. They're not a great rushing team, Ohio State, but they don't have a great offense or top 25 in offense. Last time we saw them, they lost 13-10, so they scored 10 points too in the last game they played, ironically. This should be a good hard-nosed game. But I have always this. Where is it? This one. Yeah. I have them winning 24-10. I think they take care of the ball. They run the ball about they run the ball consistently. They're not a great running team, but I think they find a way to run the ball good, and they hold Miami to only 10 points. I don't think Miami can keep up with Ohio State's front seven defense. I don't think Miami can score on this defense, number one defense in the country. That's why I have Ohio State keeping them to 10 points and win 24-10. They get a late touchdown to put this game away at the end and win 24-10. Miami's trying to drive downfield, throw sets, and to seal the deal, and they win 24-10. And let's move on for the second straight year, looking to repeat, looking to get back to the national championship. So that's who I have. That's game. This is the best. This to me is the best game on the best game on paper. It's the best game of the quarterfinals between number 4 and number 5. Oregon and Texas A&M and Texas Tech. Both teams can score. Both teams are good at defense. Who knows what way this is going to go? Um, uh, this is hard because I want Oregon to win, but I have Texas Tech going to the national championship, so I have to stick with Texas Tech going to the national championship. So I'm picking that. I'm picking Texas Tech here to win a close one, low scoring game, 23-16. I think Texas Tech's defense can keep Oregon from scoring, but the pace of Oregon, I don't know. I don't know if Texas Tech can keep up with that because they're ninth in offense, seventh in defense, 42nd in passing, 13th in rushing, 22nd against the run, and 6th against the pass. So they're top 15 in passing and top 10 in passing against the pass, and top 15 and top 25 in against the run. So, and Oregon likes to run the ball. We're gonna check that out. No, this is Oregon or Texas Tech. Hold on. Oh, this is the Oregon. This is the Oregon's stats. My bad. The Oregon is ninth in passing, ninth in offense, seventh in defense, sixth in against the run, 22nd to pass, 13th in rushing, and 42nd in passing. So they like to run the ball, obviously, because they're 13, they're top 10, top 15 in rushing. So we're gonna see what Texas Tech and its defense is, but they're top 10 in offense and defense. So can Texas Tech keep up with the high pace of Oregon's run? Well, yeah, because look at that. Texas Tech is number one in against the rush, and Oregon, what do they like to do? Run the ball, and Texas Tech is number one against the run. So they're 24th against the pass, second overall in defense behind Ohio State, fifth in offense. So they're both top 10 in offense. Both top. Texas Tech is top 5 in offense and defense. Oregon is 9th and 7th in offense and defense. So they're both top. They're both top 10. They both are top 10 in offense and defense, but Texas Tech is top 5 in both. Oregon's only top 10 in both. So Texas Tech is 9th in passing, 28th in pass. Is it 20? They're 28th in passing, first against the run, and 24th against the pass. So they are top 25 in both rushing and passing. So this is going to be hard for Oregon to score. It's going to be hard for Texas Tech to score too, because it's top 10 in defense. So that's why I have this as a low scoring game. Texas Tech pulls it out 23-16. This is basically a home game for them. Oregon fans do travel, so they're going to travel. This, to me, it's the best game of the quarterfinals, even if it's not, even 23-16 I only have. I think that it's going to be a hard fought game, come down to the wire, but I think Texas Tech just pulls it out, and Oregon loses in the quarterfinals again. They don't get that monkey off their back by losing in the quarterfinals again. So now to the most overhyped game of the quarterfinals, with the most overhyped team in the playoffs right now. And I think that Indiana proves me wrong, and they win, and they beat Alabama, and they move on to the semifinals, and so be it. I might eat my words here, but I think Indiana is the most overhyped. It's getting overhyped right now. I think a lot of people are picking them. A lot of people are picking against Alabama because one, it's Alabama. Two, because Indiana is like this darling right now. Everybody everybody loves. 3, they're undefeated, so everybody's gonna pick Indiana, and Indiana is. As I checked, they were a 6.5 point favorite. Thing. Um. So with that said, Alabama, 75th in offense, 13th in defense, 10th against the pass, 28th against the run, 119th in rushing. They're not a good rushing team. They're worse than Ohio State, way worse, and 22nd in passing. So yeah, Alabama to win this game, they're gonna need to run the ball, and that's not they didn't do that well against Oklahoma, and they came back and won. So Ty Simpson's gonna have to play masterclass game against a very good defense. I believe top 10 or top 5. So for Alabama to win, they're gonna have to play the game that they did the last 3 quarters of the Oklahoma game. They play like that. They play the way they played from the second quarter to the end of the game, especially in the second half. They play the game. They play the way they played in the second half. They have a very good chance of winning this game. With that said, let's show my prediction for the. Yeah, okay. I think I did right. That's for Morgan, but then yeah. Indiana and Alabama. Alabama winning 24-17. Another low scoring game here. Um, I just think Alabama's gonna win. I think they're gonna pull it out. I think Indiana getting overhyped here. Everybody loves them. Everybody thinks they're gonna make national championship. Everybody is riding them. They're getting so much praise. Um, not that they're not a good team, that I think they're getting too much hype. So I think everybody's overlooking Alabama here. And I think it's Alabama versus the world. I think that's the mentality they're playing with. Alabama's in FU mode. I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. They're playing with, hey, nobody thinks we can win. Hey, nobody thought should be here. Hey, it's us versus the world. They're playing the way that I think Michigan and Ohio State played the last 2 years with us against the world. I think they're playing us against the world mentality. I think they're in FU mode. They're saying F everybody. We're gonna go out there and win. That's what they did against Oklahoma. It didn't show in the first quarter, but after the first quarter, after they that penalty that Oklahoma did with the offensive lineman that pushed them back to only a field goal, and then they went up 17-0, and then Alabama scored, and then they got the momentum from that. I think Alabama's in FU mode. I think they are in that us against the world mentality right now. At least I think so. I think they actually could win the national championship, but we'll see. Let's go to Indiana. So Indiana is eighth in offense, 43rd against the run, pass. 43rd in passing. So they're the opposite of Alabama. They're okay against pass. They're not like Alabama where they're 119th against in rushing. So they're 10th in rushing, 3rd against the run, and 18th against the pass. Yeah, so I think Indiana is a little overhyped here, but we'll see. They're really good. To top 10 in offense and defense, top 5 in defense. So we shall see. It didn't say if I'm winning. So there you go. So Ole Miss and Georgia, the rematch. The Ole Miss is second in offense, 41st in defense, 30th against the pass, 58th against the run, 33rd in passing, and 33rd in rushing, and third in passing. Ole Miss and Georgia, this is the rematch. Georgia won the first meeting, giving Ole Miss its only loss of the season. What was the score of that game? Georgia 43-35. They won by 8 in Athens. Um, so, yeah, this should be another good game. Georgia barely won. They won by 8 last time. I don't think Ole Miss is all that great. I think a new coach. I know I said this last game, but this is the second game of playing, and he's coaching against Kirby Smart in the playoffs. Yeah, so I'm taking Georgia. In Georgia, it's 43rd in offense, 11th in defense, 46th against the pass, 4th against the run, 31st in pass in rushing, and is it 76th in passing. So they're not good. They're not a good passing team. They're a good rushing team. Do I think it's going to be a high scoring game? No. Let's see. I see 27-17. I see Georgia winning 27-17. Another low scoring game. So all the games I have are low scoring. And I haven't checked the over under, but I think all of them are over under. What can I have that? Under. I have another low scoring game. All the games I have are gonna be, if you're gonna be bet. I have all of them under. I think three, mhm, two of the, I think half the games last week, half the games in the first round went over in Alabama and Oklahoma and Oregon and Tulane. JMU, no, JMU. I want to say Ole Miss. Ole Miss game went over too. I believe. What's up for that game? But yeah, this should be another good game. I said on paper, Texas Tech and Oregon are its best game, but this actually could be the best game. It's It'll be between this one, Indiana, Alabama, and Oregon. And all of them could be good games. All of them could be best game. But on paper, Texas Tech and Oregon is probably the best game. And sometimes on paper doesn't mean anything. So this could actually be the worst. That could be actually the worst game. Could be a blowout. But we'll see. Now moving on. Now moving on to the best part of the show, best bets. As I said, best bets on the season of 1923. That's including the bowl game and including. It's not a lot I did this year because I was away for a month, so I was out of the country for a month. So do a lot. But the first best bet, Ohio State 9.5. Obviously, I have them winning 24-10, so I have them covering 24. I have them covering the 9.5 and minus 110 on FanDuel. Probably minus 110 everywhere, but I do FanDuel. So second best bet, the under 51.5 in the Oregon and Texas Tech game, minus 108. As I said, 23-16. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. Even though both teams can score, I think both teams are going to struggle on offense because Texas Tech is really good against the run. And Oregon loves to run the ball. So, and when you have a good defense that can stop run or pass, and the other team can run and pass, usually the defense wins that battle. Usually. So, I have Oregon Texas Tech under 51.5. Best bet is Alabama, Indiana under 47.5 minus 108. Again, on FanDuel. The other one minus 108 too, under 51.5. Alabama, Indiana under 47.5. Alabama win 24-17. So yeah, that's under. Um, I say barely under because it was 24-24 and 48. So yeah. So this is probably the closest to total it's gonna be for me. This is probably the closest game that I to the total. So that's the best bet for Alabama and Indiana. Best bet for Georgia and Ole Miss in, is Georgia minus 6.5, minus 110. So I have 2 minus 110, 2 minus 108. But check your books for the best odds. Those are my best bets. Best ones in each game. Other leans I have. Let's see. Another lean. I mean, a lean I would have in Miami Ohio State. Obviously under 41.5. So you got 24-10. Oregon and Texas Tech. I would lean towards the Texas Tech money line at minus plus 114. So it's a lean. Even though I have Texas Tech winning, I don't know if I would necessarily bet them. I think Oregon, that's how I've been winning. But Alabama, Indiana, a lean would be, Alabama winning. I would have Alabama plus 7.5. That's a lean, minus 122. It's higher than the money line. And then Old Miss, Georgia, under 55.5 at minus 105. So those are all four. Those ones I just named are 4 leans I have for those games. So 4 best bets and 4 leans. And I would probably lean towards Alabama money line game, but I'm not gonna give that out. Those are bets I'm not giving out. Just leans I have, even though I have Alabama winning and I have Texas Tech winning. They both win on the money line. But I bet it, I don't know. I don't know yet. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna have my short for the goals. There's 4 of them, so that shorts up probably in the morning. Check that out. And this is I'll be back tomorrow afternoon, probably 2 o'clock with Plymouth doing the NFL show. That's the last NFL. That's the last show for the year. Today's New Year's Eve. So today at 2 p.m. Live with Plymouth with NFL Week 18 picks. And we'll talk about Week 17. See what we think is going to be the playoff matchups, and then we'll have our playoff show next week. So this is the NFL show will be the last show of the 2025. Check that out at 2 p.m. Eastern on this channel. Also, subscribe to the Everything Unscripted podcast feed on Spotify. So click on the QR code for Everything Unscripted podcast network feed, and then for this one, for it, this one, this one will be um for the unscripted sports podcast. So the switches. So for that one, I switched it around. That's for the unscripted sports. This is for the unscripted sports feed. Subscribe to that too. This is, you'll find most of the shows I do on here up there. I had updated. I usually put most of the shows. Taking down the MLB rankings, so because I think I should have the rankings should go in the video. So I'm gonna take down the rankings, but I'm gonna update it probably sometime in the new year, early new year. So check that out. But for MoneyE, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the new year if you only watch the college football one. And otherwise, we'll be back for 2 p.m. with for the NFL show week 18 picks and best bets. Later. It's funny.